Coming up on Texas Parks and Wildlife.
We have the beautiful Mission Espiritu Santo, the campgrounds that are just gorgeous, lots of wildlife. It's a lot of fun.
I like to say you can do anything with an ing here. That includes fishing, camping, biking, swimming.
We call it living history because the whole point is to make it as real as we possibly can.
Fire! Texas Parks and Wildlife, a television series for all outdoors.
Hello, my name is Rodney Franklin, Director for your Texas State Parks at the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. From the Gulf Coast to the plains of the Panhandle, from the eastern forests to the western mountains, Texas is blessed with natural beauty and a rich history. Our Texas State Parks and historic sites exist to protect that beauty and preserve that heritage while making it accessible for everyone to enjoy. Let's take a look at some of our amazing state parks and historic sites that make Texas special.
Folks who come out here to South Llano River State Park, the main draw is probably the river, which is why it gets its namesake. Spring-fed, year-round flow, and then we also have the unique feature of rising up into the Edwards Plateau. We go from about 1,700 feet and then rise up another 400 feet. And throughout that you have canyons and bluffs that provide some of the best pictures of the hill country you're ever going to see. Fish on.
Or glide.
Yeah, I haven't seen this many in one place before. They're hovering around the feeder, trying to find a hole to put their little beak in.
South Llano River has 4 bird blinds. They all have a water feature.
There's a bunting.
And so you can always count on seeing a lot of bird activity.
There's the jay over there on the feeder again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, tons of birds.
For the kids, there's a number of opportunities where you can hop in the tube, float for 2.5 hours down the South Llano River, and get back out and do it again.
Definitely the hidden gem out there. It's got a small little chute area. The current's not too fast. Great for children that are like 12 and under that want to float a river that's not too hectic. I consider it really safe for children, so that's pretty much why we really come here.
You don't often think about the kind of bugs that live in the river. Sweep it against the plants and then dump it into your bucket, okay?
We got a bug! We caught something.
It's neat for the kids to get out and play in the water as well as find out about the different bugs that live in the water. Look at this.
I got a beetle.
Any activity there in nature and they're discovering things. Okay, hold it real flat, there you go. It's priceless though, really, to see them all get excited about everything.
The entire park is great for hiking and biking trails. Anytime you want to hop on your mountain bike, you have over 25 miles of trails. I like the mountain bike back here because there's not a lot of other people back here. 2,100 acres is a lot of land to go play around on a mountain bike. It's nice that as soon as you get back here in the backcountry with your bike, you really don't hear anything but birds in the wind.
Y'all ready to eat?
It's not a big park, you know, you're not going to have party crowds out here, and it's a very family-oriented park, you know, and it's quiet too.
We are an international dark sky park.
Those little spots are moons.
If we're having a star party, people can come. We have an interpretive ranger that will show you all the constellations of the sky. We go to our parks, there's that primitive feel. And even though you can be sitting in the campground with 50 other campers, you only walk 100 yards and you're gonna be all alone in the woods. And that's what makes it special, because there is space to be had out here.
Right, march.
At its height, Fort Richardson was the largest military post in the United States. Had close to 1,000 soldiers here. Fort Richardson was established in 1867. It was the northernmost of the frontier forts throughout now what is the state of Texas to help protect the western movement of the settlers coming out.
The fort system was really integral in being able to settle the state. So without the fort system, we wouldn't have had a state of Texas. We wouldn't have been able to, defend it and be able to inhabit it as we do now.
This weekend we're hosting our annual Living History event. And today we had 26 school buses roll in here.
I'd have a pot in the fire and I would pour a whole lot of bullets.
That is cool. There are some people that get everything they need out of reading textbooks or in the classroom, but I am not one of those people.
You got the basics down.
We are giving visitors an opportunity to see what life was like back when this fort was operational.
Shoulder, arms.
They get to see the soldiers in action and to see what activities might be available to the children who lived in the fort back in the day. It makes that connection to their history.
Still there, isn't it?
We're out here on a field trip, out here to learn about the 1800s and how they lived and stuff. They didn't have much technology that we have today, obviously, so they had to put in a little bit more work to do simple tasks.
Oh.
Would you imagine having to do that every day?
Yeah. It's hard to get out stains.
Company, forward, march.
We got to march across the field with guns.
Double quick time, march.
It'd be pretty scary to know that you're basically about to go fight.
Company, charge!
Because I don't want to get shot. Like doctors and stuff, it's a bit harder for them to work.
He took care of 50 to 80 troops using this surgical set.
And it's just crazy how they got through it all with just a little bit of medicine.
Fort Richardson has some incredible historic buildings here on site, and there are tours available for people who are coming and want to learn a little bit more about it.
We still have 7 of the original historic buildings still standing, 2 reconstructed buildings, a museum, an interpretive center. The staff here at Fort Richardson take great pride in protecting and maintaining the integrity of these historic structures. Fort Richardson has a ton to offer. It not only has the historical aspect, the park has 57 campsites, all of them have water and electricity. We do have limited use cabins, nature trails. We have the historic Rumbling Springs here in Lost Creek. We also have a 9-mile multi-use trail that wraps around both municipal lakes, comes out at what we call our North Park over there. We have the historic side of it, lots of hiking, biking, and equestrian. We have a lot to offer here in Jacksboro. An hour from Fort Worth.
You just twirl the thing back and forth.
When kids come out here, they're stunned. When I was cooking this morning, they were like, is that a real fire? Well, yes, indeed, it's a real fire. And yes, that's real smoke, and that's really hurting your eyes.
Which one? Okay.
They're kind of stunned because a lot of kids, they don't smell bacon cooking on a fire. They don't see horses. They don't see gun smoke from a cannon. If history is real from the distance you are from me right now, then it's believable.
Having that multi-sensory experience just really helps connect people to that history and see why it's valuable and important to conserve that history.
We were the closest defensive line to Oklahoma, which was Indian Territory. We were a major contributor in the Red River War campaign. Fort Richardson was a training post for the World War II campaign, and the battalion that trained here became known as the Lost Battalion.
Fort Richardson's really unique, and to keep it alive just as long as we possibly can, I think it's the best possible way to honor what's going on out here and all the diverse cultures that have come through here and helped build this place.
They circle around here a few times to get elevation to get above the trees. Basically a tornado of flying bats. It's spectacular. I mean, I've been watching it for 11 years and I still don't get tired of it. It's just amazing. For people who've never seen it before, it's fun to watch their faces and see how amazed they are. I can't compare it to anything else. It's just pretty cool. I'm Nysa Brown, and I am the park superintendent here at Old Tunnel State Park. It was part of a railroad that was put in 1913. The people in Fredericksburg were trying to get to San Antonio quicker, and they had a railroad that went from San Antonio over to Kerrville. And that rail line wouldn't lay tracks over this hill because they said it was too big for them to pull freight cars and passenger cars. And so people in Fredericksburg decided to start their own railroad. And they decided to tunnel through the hill. They started in March of 1913 and they were done by July of 1913, and they dug it out by hand. And the first train ran through August 1913, and it was in operation until 1941. And then it was bankrupt, so they decommissioned it. In the 50s, a rancher that lived down the road saw smoke coming from this direction, and he thought something had caught fire over here, came to investigate, and it was the bats. So they've been here since the early 50s, for sure. Here at Old Tunnel, we have the Mexican freetails, which our population is at its peak right now of about 3 million bats. And we also have about 3,000 cave myotis bats. They can maneuver through trees and bushes pretty easily. You can see their wingspan is quite a bit longer on the freetail. Freetails are migratory bats. So they migrate here for the summer, and then they stay through the fall until about the end of October, and then they'll head back down to Mexico where they can still find food through the winter. Over 21,000 people come just during bat season to see the bats. And that's not counting all the people that come during the day just to hike the trail and maybe look at the tunnel, because there's a lot of people interested in the history too.
Good show. It's a beautiful night for bats.
We have 2 viewing areas. Our upper viewing area is open every night of the week, and it's always free. And it's usually a good view from up there when the bats are coming out earlier. And this lower viewing area is only open on Thursday through Sunday nights for a $5 per person fee. It's a good view from down here most of the season. Most of the bats here in the United States are eating insects, so very beneficial to agriculture. There are bats that eat mosquitoes, so that's a good bat to have around.
These bats are active all year round.
People are more educated now than they have been in the past. I don't find as many people that are afraid of bats as I used to. So I think that perception is changing a bit. And more people are understanding how important bats are to the environment, so they want to help them rather than be afraid of them. Turk's cap.
So basically, Ben Leaton came, settled here, built his home, about wore out.
O Filii et Filiae, Rex Celestis, Rex Gloriae,
Goliad State Park and Historic Site is a really special place. We have a really nice blend of history as well as natural resources. The park has camping, places to go hiking, biking, canoeing, paddling, as well as the history, which it's mostly known for.
Probably around 5 or 6 o'clock, church bell rings again. Everyone went back to church one more time. That was, again, completely different for the Native Americans. A whole new experience.
This is a 18th century Spanish mission, one of the first efforts by Europeans to colonize Texas. Besides being introduced to Catholicism, the natives were introduced to all different types of Spanish living.
That wall is original as well, all the way around.
When the mission was at its peak, there were about 300 people living here, and those were mainly natives housed within these walls.
The missions at Goliad lasted 81 years, closing in 1830. The buildings eventually fell into disrepair, and much of the wood and stone from the site was salvaged by local residents. The property was acquired by the state in 1931, and a year later, the first of many restoration efforts were begun.
We have the historic Mission Espiritu Santo de Zúñiga, dating back to 1749. We have Mission Rosario, which is about 4 miles outside of downtown Goliad.
This was the bell tower.
Rosario would have been very similar to what you see here at Espiritu Santo. It was never quite as successful.
But when they did an excavation here, what they found was a lot of little pieces of painted plaster.
The mission compound was never developed to the extent that this was. And so when you visit there, you're only going to see the ruins of the mission buildings. You'll see the outlines of all the different rooms that were there. It's really quite interesting to go visit Rosario and see the similarities and the differences between the activities at both sites.
Goliad is also the birthplace of General Ignacio Zaragoza. Born at the nearby community of La Bahia in 1829, Zaragoza led the Mexican army in the Battle of Puebla. On May 5, 1862, General Zaragoza's outnumbered forces defeated the occupying French army, a date now celebrated as Cinco de Mayo.
Many of our visitors come here specifically to see Mission Espiritu Santo. And then they stumble upon the fact that we have beautiful campgrounds in our park and a lot of nature.
These are called our eastern lubber grasshoppers, Spanish dagger. This is called the anacua tree.
We have beautiful nature trails where our park rangers will do guided tours on the weekend.
It's a hognose. He's smashing himself out and making himself wider to look bigger right now. You should never try this, okay? Because I'm a professional park ranger. I know what I'm doing.
We do have a beautiful biking trail called the Angel of Goliad Hike and Bike Trail. It connects downtown Goliad, which is historic in itself, goes all the way through the park, and then connects to Presidio La Bahia, just down the road from us.
There you go, got it.
And we have the San Antonio River Trail. It's a real natural, undeveloped trail. It's great to be able to see the river. One of the other special things we have is we're on the Goliad Paddling Trail, which is located on the San Antonio River. It's about 6.1 miles of beautiful, pristine river.
The river has always been one of the main draws of this part of Goliad. There's a lot of evidence that it was inhabited by native groups well before any of the Europeans had arrived here. And so when the Spaniards came to this area, they recognized it as a good place to build the mission as well. You really get a good sense of the history here because we have so much of the site intact. Here you have the entire perimeter wall. You have the more or less natural landscape surrounding the mission, so you really get a good sense of what it would have been like to live and work here all those years.
I think the thing I love the most about this park is it is a small, peaceful park. We have a little bit of everything here. We have the San Antonio River, the beautiful Mission Espiritu Santo, the campgrounds that are just gorgeous, lots of wildlife. It's just a blend of everything that you don't find at other parks. It's a lot of fun.
Visiting Texas state parks just got easier.
With our new online reservation features, you can choose a specific cabin, campsite, or shelter and reserve it for your next visit. The new reservation system makes it easier to plan group getaways. Save the day and don't get turned away with our optional day use reservation.
Good morning.
And be sure to get in.
Thank you.
Plus, you can buy park passes and gift cards online. Texas State Parks, getting better for you.
Huntsville State Park is located in the piney woods of East Texas.
And you turn down the road and you start driving through that tunnel. It's like this really cool portal that takes you away from the hustle and bustle. It all just kind of gets left behind you as you get deeper and deeper into the woods until you get to the park itself.
I like to say you can do anything with an ing here. That includes fishing, camping, biking, hiking, swimming, all kinds of fun opportunities outside. We have 187 campsites at the park, which may seem like a lot, but with the amount of trees that we have in the campground, you don't feel like you're on top of your neighbor and you still feel pretty secluded.
We are a CCC park. What they did here, they actually built the park itself. We have Lake Raven, which is a man-made lake where they built an earthen dam that blocked off the flow of 3 creeks and streams that go through this region of the forest. And by building that dam, they created the lake that we have today. And we wouldn't have it if it wasn't for the CCC.
You can swim in the lake in our designated swimming area.
The water is like, it's just like the perfect temperature. Oh, it's really fun. Like, there's a lot of activities to do, and also getting on boats is pretty cool.
Perfect. So we have a boathouse here at the state park.
Awesome.
If you're a first-time boater and you'd like to try it out,
All right, see y'all later.
you can rent one here. That includes canoes, paddle boats, and kayaks.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I like how everything's curved in with the trees, and how the wind is like blowing in my face, and it's so fresh.
We're doing the Chinkapin Trail, the 6.8-mile loop that covers a pretty good section of the park. That's cool. What I really like about the trail is that it's really shaded, so it's good in all weather. It's really remote. It gives you kind of a feel of seclusion and a really good foresty vibe.
This park's rarely crowded, and so a lot of times you can hit the trail, and especially during the week, I got it to myself. Yeah, it's nice. It can get challenging, yes. You get a lot of gullies and draws that go in and out. I just love the exercise, and to be this close to nature and just to be out where you can enjoy it. It's a nice trail to ride.
My name is Ranger Ted. The Alligator Workshop is this really fun hands-on activity where I'll have a baby alligator, go ahead, for people to actually touch and feel and see up close.
Cool.
This one is a boy, this one's her brother. How often do you get a chance to say that you got to actually touch a baby alligator? You got to feel it, you got to stroke its belly. So it's a really great opportunity for these families, these kids, these adults. Go ahead and feel the belly. To be able to go home and tell everyone, I touched and pet a baby alligator. So it's a really cool opportunity.
Huntsville State Park is a really awesome place because it's home to all these different memories, and it's a great place to make new memories because of all the different things it offers.
If you're looking for your classic East Texas piney woods lakeside getaway, Huntsville State Park is definitely where you should stop.
We hope you enjoyed this virtual visit, and we hope it inspires you to explore a state park or historic site near you. We look forward to seeing you out there. Thanks for watching Texas Parks and Wildlife.